is OTP at the moment?
Luckily, I'm armed with the info. OTP on our network is in the mid 84-85% range. It's reasonably good, but we would like it to be better. And one of the reasons why OTP is not as good as we would like to be is because of air traffic congestion in some of the key airports in China. As you know, China has got the air traffic is really growing at leaps and bounds. I can tell you that on our new route to Japan, we are at 99 to 100% punctuality. Japanese routes are extremely efficient, and the airports are very efficient in getting flights out on time.
Any plans to join the global alliance?
Not in the near future. We have two parent companies to work with, and we also have, I have not mentioned it, but we also have the Value Alliance. I can talk a bit more about Value Alliance if you're interested. It's an alliance of low-cost carriers including NokScoot, Jeju Airline from Korea, Cebu Pacific from Philippines, Tiger Air Australia, and Vanilla in Japan, but well, they are going to be absorbed by Peach. So this Value Alliance is an alliance of low-cost carriers, and we have worked with a company called Air Black Box that allows you to go into one airline's website, NokScoot website, and buy a through ticket, say connecting from Narita to Jeju Island on Jeju Air. Yeah. So you issue one ticket. Of course, you still have to do your transfer manually unless you pay separately for it. That's how the low-cost carrier sort of interline. So the Value Alliance is just taking off this year. We launched a new Value Alliance website about 6 months ago. So if you want to check it out, it's valuealliance.com. Go check it out. It's very new. You have not heard a lot about it yet, but we are still working on growing the alliance.
Thank you. And something about the loyalty program?
No, again, we are low-cost carriers, so no loyalty program at the moment. But you never know. In time to come, we could possibly look at maybe joining one of our partners, or one of our shareholders in the loyalty, some sort of loyalty.
Mr. Ziamin sir, a few years back, tickets of Goa and Thailand was almost same. Now we have a difference of 3 times now. Thai Airways is charging more than 22 to 23,000 now. So what do you want to say in this regard? Is the tickets of Scoot will be now cheaper like the Goa tickets? And second question to Mr. Ambassador sir. Mr. Ambassador, my question to you is that in past few years by gay mafia in Thailand, there are so many cases of looted to Indians are increased. What do you want to say in this regard? Because we cannot complain when an Indian goes to Thailand with a family or with friends. He can't complain because of the mafias there of gay mafia. What do you want to say? We are victims of that. Please do something in this regard for the Indian tourists.
Can you repeat again what kind of mafia?
Gay mafia. Sir, there is a gay mafia on the beaches of Pattaya and so many places of tourists there. And we have seen a daily case. Yeah, gay mafia is there. As you know that so many Indians, when we go to Thailand, so many friends of me, even I was a victim 2 years back of on the beach road.
You might be surprised that I haven't heard of gay mafia yet, but Director of Tourism Office knows, and so whatever issues that are of concern to tourists, I'm sure that somebody is addressing it. But I myself, I haven't heard of that. But in general, crime against tourists is something that we attach importance to. Actually, another issue that we've been paying attention to a lot is accidents. concerning transportation or whether usually land or sea and so on, because that can affect tourist numbers. We all want you to go and come back happily. I don't maybe stay more than one night. But I'm sure we are aware of that. But you should also be careful. I regret that you encountered this, maybe because you're good looking or something.
Same day, the same day in my hotel, three Bangladeshis were killed by the same game mafia. There was 8 incidents in a single day on that day when I was there.
Yeah, and did you report case to police?
No. I came back early in the morning. I had to stay 3 more days, but I returned on the very next day.
But we do take, crime related to tourists very seriously, because you know that it can affect the number of tourists, and nowadays with word of mouth and social media, anything that happens can affect tourist numbers immediately and seriously. But we do have tourist police, dedicated to protecting tourists. Number one, when you go anywhere, you have to exercise caution. But number two, you should raise, if you have time, raise the alarm, or meaning report the cases so that we can address them. But I would say, how do you say, criminals. They're not just gay or not gay, but maybe these have high profile. But I would say criminals are criminals. Okay, I hope you have better luck next time. Sorry about that.
Ambassador, if you don't mind, I will just add, my experience as a foreigner living in Thailand for the last 30 months, 32 months now, I have never felt unsafe in Bangkok. I think but every city in the world has issues like this, and I think we all just have to be careful. I think living there, there are 1-2 areas that you don't go to on your own, but by and large, I think it's a very, very safe city to be in. Millions and millions of visitors every year. Yeah. But I would like to address your question on the fares between Bangkok and Goa. Interesting that you said a few years ago the fares was similar to Goa and from Delhi to Goa and Delhi Bangkok. So Delhi Goa is about 2 hours and Delhi Bangkok is about 4 hours. And you say the fares are the same. And now you say it's 3 times difference. I suppose you mean Bangkok is now 3 times more expensive than Goa? Or the other way around? So Bangkok is more expensive than Goa? No, but you said 3 times, just now you mentioned 3 times.
Only tickets has been increased, I want to say.
Air tickets?
Air tickets has been increased.
So Bangkok airfare is now 3 times?
Even Air Asia is giving tickets to Malaysia in 7,000 in Indian rupees.
Yeah.
But tickets of Thailand is 2 times at one way.
Okay.
A return ticket will be 25,000 of a good airlines now for Thailand, and for Malaysia, in Air Asia we get in 12,000 return ticket.
And Goa?
And Goa between 7,000 to 8,000.
Yeah. I think there are two factors, if I may add, from my experience in India. Clearly, the domestic capacity has grown a lot in the last few years. I think the number of aircraft being brought into the market, and that has driven prices down quite a bit, I think, which in some cases I think is unsustainable in the long run. Some of the prices that you see on the domestic market won't even cover fuel costs at the current level, so it cannot be sustainable. So that's one. I think the fundamentals, you can't run away from it. Airfares, like almost everything else, pricing and everything else, is really a case of supply and demand. That is really the primary driving factor. Obviously, every business tries to recover the costs, and you may be aware that fuel price has been extremely high in this year, 2018. It hit a 4-year high in October 2018. Just 8 weeks ago, you hit a 4-year high. Thankfully for us, it's come down quite a bit in the last 2 months. And fundamentals suggest fuel price should remain benign because you know, the world actually has an oversupply of fuel at the moment. So if you, we're just entering the market, so I can't comment on whether 25,000 is the right fare or not. But clearly, there's a supply and demand equation there. And if you feel that Bangkok is being priced higher than Kuala Lumpur, it could be a case of very strong demand to Bangkok. You know, I think people go to places. People want to go to places that they want to go to. Well, you can have very attractive fares to other places, but if they're not places where you want to go to, it's no use for us, right? So I think demand could be very strong to Bangkok. I think the ambassador mentioned. The figures I see, we are seeing double-digit growth from India, and Bangkok is a gateway for a vast majority of visitors to Thailand. And next year, I think the ambassador mentioned 1.7 million. So very strong demand. So demand drive prices, you know. And the other part of the equation is supply. Supply may have been a bit constrained because traffic rights were only exchanged in December last year. And we could only exercise it just as I mentioned. We got our final permit in just 10 days ago, so we could only exercise the rights now. So we hope that with the big capacity that we bring into the market, even though it's just 4 times a week, I can tell you if I have rights, we will go to Delhi tomorrow. You know, but we have rights only for 4 times a week. So, but we are bringing 1,660 seats each way weekly, so it's a lot of capacity, and you can see that some of the fares we introduce are extremely attractive. So hopefully with our presence and you know our value for money pricing and our tailored approach where you can buy what you need, you will find Bangkok to be more accessible in terms of pricing. Yeah? So support us and you will get better value. It's
It is about demand and supply, you know, because in my office, many of us are going home during Christmas, New Year. So I have arranged that we have paid, you know, for return economy class tickets on Thai International between 18,000 rupees up to 38,000. You know, and even somebody who bought a long time ago in advance, he paid 40,000 approaching them. And then somebody who bought just yesterday, a few days ago, 18,000. So, you know, if they happen to have 1 or 2 seats that they want to get rid of, then, you might get cheaper price. But it is demand and supply because there are many Indian tourists going and the capacity is limited. The ambassadors of Southeast Asian nations here, ASEAN, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, they fly using Thai International, for instance. You know, there are actually not that many direct flights to India. Australia doesn't have direct flight to India. That is something that I find surprising, you know. And so it is about capacity. But what NokScoot and other Thai registered carriers are getting now is 6,150 extra seats per week. Okay, so that sounds like a lot, and it's appreciated by businesses and also by government. But 6,150 is not a lot, you know, in the context of the population or the market. Yes, but IG, Indira Gandhi International Airport, it's almost at capacity, you know. So it will come, but in the meantime, we do appreciate this. And once, Indian side hits, 80% of their targets again, or, both sides, then we will expand again. But in the meantime, other tier 2 cities and so on, they're also available, but it has to make economic sense. Every day people are keen to have flights, like when Thai Smile flies to Lucknow, the Thai students there, we have Muslim students there, they appreciate that they don't have to come to Delhi and then go, they can go direct. And I believe that in looking into the future, as people have, they're more well-to-do, the market will expand, to the other other airports as well. Thank you.
We allow one last.
Okay, one last one.
Ambassador, my question to you was, we've seen for past 10 years, the free visa happens only for like 2 months or 6 months. So what really stops getting free visa? Is it normally countries follow the principle of reciprocity, like India will give free visa to Thai citizens and Thailand will give it to free for Indians. So is it that because Indian government is not giving free visa and that is the stumbling block?
Number one, something that I always say is that as long as, India is part of this region, okay, you have your neighbors and other countries and so on, I think visas are still a necessity, okay? We just cannot have fully open borders like that, okay? That's one thing. Number two, in the past, my colleague next to me and then people like from my agency and the security agencies, we're in the middle. They will sit and debate, whether we should charge visa fees or not, okay? I remember once for the Chinese, we did do trial periods and there was a debate whether waiving of visa fees affected, the tourists or not. In China, you travel via travel agencies. Nobody does it himself. And we found that the travel agency did not pass the saving to the traveler. So in the end, the Thai government was giving up this income and just padding the wallet of the travel agencies, okay? But now for the Indian episode, this time, I'll tell you, we had a drop in number of Chinese tourists, okay? And I think it's a compromise. So now we need other tourists, to pad up the drop in Chinese tourists. And the compromise was that we're still collecting visa fees at the embassies, consulates general, and so on and so forth, but visa on arrival is free. So this is like typical, compromise. And I think it's very successful. I think over time, visa on arrival will take over, over time. I don't know how long, okay? Because most people find it more convenient, Some people come to me and they say, once somebody said, I waited for 4 hours and I was apologizing, I'm so sorry you waited 4 hours. You said, no problem at all, because he was comparing it to coming to Delhi, to VFS or Cox and King, to making that trip from another city, you see. So 4 hours seemed okay. But nowadays it's less, like 40 minutes or whatever. Some people say, oh, it's so efficient, very nice. I waited for only 40 minutes and I'm thinking, how can he say only 40 minutes, Of course we would like it to be better, but then we need more immigration officials. Okay, I don't like anyone to have to wait, but when you go to popular destinations, sometimes it happens. For me, I had the experience that like in LA or New York, especially LA, a few years back, nobody wanted to go there because, the immigration was, they had such a reputation, that people would fly to enter other ports and so on. But visa on arrival, I think that's the future. Okay, the other one is after 13th of January, they will have another promotion, which is not free, but it will be something like 2 for the price of 1. So you pay for 1 visa, but you get another free entry, something like that. Okay, so they're experimenting, trying to keep everyone happy. Now, why don't we go totally visa free? I think both our countries make a lot of money from visas. Okay, I know we make in this country around 2 billion rupees. I don't know how to do that in crores and so on. Maybe 200 crores. Yes, is that correct? that they don't do anything with the money really, Government is not invested, it just sits there and it's being lent to other people, from the bank that we deposit it with. So in the same way, the Indian government probably makes, and other governments make money from visa fees as well. But I can say that it's not critical. We don't need it, and as I'm sure India doesn't need it to survive. But it's something that, if I say to you, give up 200 crores, you need good reasons. And the good reason is, he will say, for the 200 crores that you give up, you're making 1,000 crores, because it's not a lot compared to what Indian wedding spends, or golf holiday or something like that. So the debate is ongoing, okay? But we will try to introduce more convenience, okay, like e-visa and so on, more full e-visa, true e-visa, okay?
There's one question from here. How many foreigners took Thai visas and what is the percentage of Indians?
Okay. So we were just talking, tourists, I actually don't know, but out of 35, we're now over 35 million tourists, okay, at this point in time. And Indian is around, and Indian is 1.5, okay? Out of 35 plus, Indian is 1.5 million, Chinese are 8 million. They are now the biggest group.
And what is the trend like? Has it been growing or what is
the trend? This is my own observation. I'm just from looking at the trends. I think the Chinese, they've now discovered Japan, and the relationship with Japan is better. And Japan, once Japan experimented with visa-free, my God, it transformed, tourism for that country. Narita Airport used to be empty, easy to go and buy your Kit Kat, green tea, whatever, But now you have to have at least 30 to 40 minutes. It has changed, But it took a big decision from them. I mean, Japanese are some of the most conservative people, right? And I'm sure that they are concerned about security and so on. But Japan is changing, It's a very aging society. And I tweet every other day, about their changing policy about employment and so on and so forth. So, well, I don't know but so the Chinese are going, they discovered new markets, and now we're looking for Indians.
So this figure is for which year?
This year, now, yes, as we speak.